I was 5 when I first saw it. Everyone else in the foster home was asleep. 12 kids crammed into one creaky house, pretending we weren't scared. But I wasn't pretending that night. I was so scared, because something was laughing outside my window. It wasn't a person's laugh. Not really. It was too deep, too wet, like someone choking and giggling at the same time. I pulled the blanket over my head and squeezed my eyes shut. The next morning, no one believed me. Miss Carla, the foster mum, said it was just a raccoon. They make weird sounds at night, she said. Go play. But raccoons don't knock on windows. And they sure as hell don't whisper your name. That was the first night. The second time was even worse. I woke up to see the bedroom light flickering like a dying bulb. Everyone else was asleep, frozen like mannequins in their bunks. The air was ice cold and I could see my breath. Then I saw it in the corner of the room. Something crouched, pale, long arms that reached the floor. No eyes, just a mouth wide and jagged, stretching from ear to ear, smiling like it knew me. It didn't move. It just laughed. It wasn't loud, but soft and constant. I couldn't scream or even breathe. Then it started crawling so fast that its limbs moved all wrong, like a broken spider. It reached my bed in seconds and stood over me, that awful grin twitching. I remember its breath. It smelled like old milk and wet dirt. Then it leaned in, its mouth still open far too wide, and whispered, "You're mine now." But before I could react, before I even fully understood what was happening, I blacked out. When I finally regained consciousness, it was already morning, and I was curled up in the dirt behind the shed, cold, disoriented, and my clothes were damp with dew. Miss Carla found me there and accused me of sneaking out. She didn't ask questions. She just slapped me across the face and barked something about double chores. I tried to explain, tried to tell her what I saw, but she didn't want to hear it. She said if I didn't shut my mouth, I'd end up in the hole. That night, I couldn't sleep. But this time, none of us did, because every single window in the house shattered at once. 12 kids were screaming, their voices overlapping in pure panic. Miss Carla was swearing, trying to regain control, and all around us, the windows exploded inward at once. Like a bomb had gone off inside the house. No one saw anything, no explanation, no figure, no intruder, except me. I walked to the front door and looked out, and there it was, standing at the end of the driveway, grinning and waving. It wasn't trapped in the house, but was waiting and watching. That's when I understood that it hadn't been stuck in that room or bound to the attic, but bound to me. After that night, Miss Carla wouldn't let me leave the house. Not for school, not for errands, not even to play in the backyard. She said it was for my own good. But I knew better. She was scared. Not for me, but for herself. Like keeping me locked up would somehow keep it out. But that didn't work, because it was already inside. Every night I'd hear it moving through the house, like something pulling itself across the wooden floors. It never made a sound when adults were near, but I'd see the evidence. Tiny scratch marks under the doors, dark smears along the baseboards, and once a clump of matted black hair on the staircase. The other kids began avoiding me. They said I was cursed, said they had nightmares whenever they slept near me and saw visions of something crouching over them, smiling and licking its lips. Some kids even wet their beds. Carla blamed me, of course. "You're spreading your filth," she spat once, dragging me by the collar into the laundry room. "You keep this up and I swear I'll chain you down." I believed her, because 2 days later, she did. I woke up on a stained mattress in the basement, wrists zip-tied to the bed frame. She said it was just for the night, said it would teach me a lesson. But that night, the lights went out and I was not alone. The laughter started around midnight, quiet at first, like someone giggling into a pillow. Then the basement door creaked open at the top of the stairs, and that thing started descending. I couldn't see it, but I heard it. I screamed until my throat felt raw. I pulled at the zip ties until they cut into my skin. The lights flicked back on for a second, and I saw it. Halfway down the stairs. It was bigger now. Its skin was torn in places, revealing slick, red muscle. Its grin had grown, splitting its face open wider than before. Rows of small, uneven teeth, like broken glass, and its eyes, black and dripping, were staring straight into mine. Then it laughed, a horrible echoing screech that felt like it shook my brain. The lights snapped off again, and I felt its breath on my cheek. It whispered the same words again, "You're mine now." When I woke up, the ties were gone. I was lying on the living room couch, blanket over me. Miss Carla claimed I'd never been in the basement. "You must have dreamt it," she said, a twitch in her eye. "You kids get wild imaginations." But I wasn't the only one it visited. 2 kids vanished a week later, supposedly ran away. Their beds were empty, the sheets soaked in something thick and brown. The cops showed up, they looked around, wrote things down, and left. No one asked questions because no one really wanted answers. Years passed. The home was eventually shut down. Too many complaints. Too many missing kids. Carla got arrested for something unrelated. Fraud, I think. But as for me, I got older. I tried to forget. Until last night. I was walking home from work, headphones in, just like any normal night. Then I felt it. That sudden, sour chill in the air. That heaviness in my stomach. I looked around. The street was empty, but I saw something in the alley. It was crouching, grinning and waving. Its smile was even wider now, like it had been waiting, stretching that grin for years just to show me how happy it was to see me again. I froze, and it spoke, but not from its mouth, from behind me. "You are always mine." I ran. I didn't even think. I just turned and sprinted down the block like a child, cutting through backyards and alleys, knocking over trash cans. I didn't care. I had to get away from that thing, but no matter how far I went, the feeling never left. That pressure, that presence clinging to me like a second skin. When I got home, I locked every door, every window. I turned on every light, but it didn't help, because when I looked at my reflection in the bathroom mirror, I saw something behind me. It was blurry at first, a dark shape, too tall to be mine, just over my shoulder. I spun around, but saw nothing. But the reflection, it was still there, smiling at me. I didn't sleep that night, and the next morning, I found footprints leading from my front door to my bed. I live alone. I tried to report it. I even went to the police station, but when I started to explain, something strange happened. The officer at the desk stopped typing. He looked up at me slowly, his expression unreadable. Then he asked in a voice that felt too familiar, "Does it smile like me?" My blood turned to ice. I said nothing. He gave me a crooked smile and then just winked. I left the station and never looked back. It's following me again. I know it is. I see it more now in reflections, in darkened doorways, in dreams that don't feel like dreams. And every time I think maybe I've escaped it, I'll find something off, like the laughter of a child under my bed, or the whisper of a voice that sounds like mine coming from inside the closet. I'm not sure what it is. A demon? A parasite? Some kind of spiritual infection? All I know is, it feeds on attention, on fear, on me. And now that you've heard this, you might have invited it into your life too. If your lights flicker tonight, or if you hear laughter echoing down an empty hallway, don't follow it. Don't look into the mirror. Don't answer the knock at your door, because some things don't stay in foster homes. They follow, they feed, and they remember you. And if you want more true horror that sticks to your bones, make sure you subscribe to Insidious Inc. and hit the notification bell before it rings on its own. Sleep tight, if you can.